Hi everyone, welcome back to our course Psych 101, Introduction to Psychologies. So, in this time, let's learn more about the history and birth of psychology since we already established the philosophical roots and we already established that psychology is a field of scientific inquiry or a field of science. No? So let's learn about what happened on the ancient period, no? Specifically during ancient civilization times, no? Religious views during the Dark Ages, and the Greek intellectual perspectives in the field of psychology. So let's focus into ancient civilization. Okay, ancient people tried to explain abnormal behavior before, no? Normal behavior during the period of ancient civilization is based on the beliefs that they follow in their traditions, which is greatly influenced and dominated by ancient gods, no, and spirits. They believe that a person who is not following the believed normal behavior are possessed by some sort of demon, and their way of drawing out evil spirit from the victim was by cutting off their head, no. So dito nang galing, no. So before, they considered it as a possession of an evil spirit. Now, if a person has a mental disorder or has an abnormal behavior. However, in ancient Chinese and Egyptians, the practice of exorcism, no, is used to treat mental illnesses. No, dito na nagsimula, no, exorcism. If the exorcism failed, they have to beat the body of the victim to drive out evil spirit. So the belief that the body is possessed by an evil spirit was still considered, no, even during the ancient Chinese and Egyptian times. So for the religious views, no, different religious beliefs like ancient Hinduism, Taoism, and Buddhism has been handing down their belief and tradition through generations to generations. No, the common traits of these three religious beliefs that they have in common is that rather than belief or faith, it is the behavior that makes life better. Okay, so you can also try to analyze the religion of Buddhism, no? We're in inner peace, right? Living in virtuous life. Okay, living virtuously, no? So in Buddhism, you can also relate it to having a mantra, okay, of a good life, no? So therefore, the ancient thinkers has a great contribution to providing concept in making a quality life, no, through those beliefs, no, of these different religions, no. So the normal behavior, no, has become established how a person can achieve a better life. Okay, so the Greek intellectual perspectives, we have different philosophers like Hippocrates, Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. So they have also contributions, no, in line with the field of psychology. So Hippocrates, no, this is the father of medicine, also known from his oath, which is the Hippocratic Oath. So he declared that mental illness were the result of an imbalance of what he called the four humors. No, you will be familiarizing this later on your advanced courses. So you have the blood, the phlegm, the yellow bile, and the black bile. So these are the four humors. All right. Okay, or they're fluids, no, for humor. So he believed that in order to cure the mental illness was to drain the excess fluids in the body, which is actually the normal reaction of the body and the mental state of a sick person. So the because of this fluid, no, because of the presence of this fluid, no, of the excess of this fluid, it had caused a person to have a mental illness. That was the belief of Hippocrates before. So in order for it to become normalized, no, it should be drained, no. The excess of fluid should be drained in the body of the person. Okay? For Socrates, no, his contribution was the philosophical roots of psychology itself. So Socrates is the person who likes to ask questions, no? If you could relate it to your other courses, like for instance, understanding the self, no? So he has a lot of questions, no, of finding meaning in life, answering the question with a question, which can be considered as an act of philosophizing. Okay, so kaya nga we have a Socratic method wherein we learn through asking questions, and that is used in the educational settings or environment in the academy. So seeking for truth in the world where his disciples passed down his teachings, no, from Socrates to Plato and towards and so on and so forth, no, passed down his teachings and developed their own philosophies in seeking for truth. So yung belief ni Socrates ay na-carried over sa mga philosophers. Plato and Aristotle are one of his students who brought the basic foundations to the birth of psychology. Okay, take note of this, ha? So it was Plato and Aristotle. So Plato, he defined the three aspects that build up the psyche. These are the reason, feeling, and appetite. No, so this, according to him, it's like the three aspects of the soul, no, that builds up the soul or the human psyche. We have the reason. This is the ability to reason out or to have a rational mind, no. Feeling, further explained in the modern psychology with sensation, perception, emotion, no, how we feel, how is our emotion? Do we feel happy, no? So this is also one of the aspect of the human psyche. Appetite, no, further explained as the motivation and drive, no. This represents those pleasure or those urges we have, no, in order for us, or that tries to manipulate and control our behavior, no. The motivation and drive are very, very much important and crucial, no, in one's human behavior. Okay, he also believed that the action of Hippocrates, humors affect the mental state of a person, and madness and ignorance are diseases of the mind that brought about the body or behavior. Okay, so let's proceed. Aristotle. So for Aristotle, he included into the formation of the human mind the debate between nature versus nurture. Okay, I think you're familiar with this one, which greatly influenced many fields of the study such as psychology, sociology, politics, education, and geography. No, nature and nurture. Are you influenced more by your environment, or is it innate in you? When you are born, it's part of your nature already. No, so that is also one questions that all of us are trying to figure out. No, what influences your human behavior? Is it by nature or is it by nurture? Together with Plato, they had a great impact to the growth of psychology with their concept of dualism, or the relationship between the mind and the body. So basically, no, the human person consists of the mind and the body, wherein they have a relationship, no. Okay. So next part will be this one. Indeed, both Plato and Aristotle's teaching greatly influenced and made a maximum impact to what psychology today with the following ideas. Okay, let's just summarize this. Number one, correlation between mind and body. Okay, both Aristotle and Plato agreed to this. There is a relationship between mind and body. The second one is the use of introspection versus observation in discovering the truth. So introspection can be related to one's intuition, no, yung mga hinala natin, no. So number three, the philosophical question, who am I and where do I come from? Okay, that is one of the questions that both Plato and Aristotle try to figure out or try to philosophize. Okay. So Plato's view is the founding basis for the psychological theories, while Aristotle's philosophy is the foundation for psychological research. Okay, take note again. Plato's view is the founding basis for the psychological theories, while Aristotle's philosophy is the foundation for the psychological research. Alright, you will discover this later on your advanced courses. Okay, let's move to the Middle Ages. At this period, it was considered as the Dark Ages, where conflicts in the religious beliefs, especially in the western part of the world, arise, no? So, like the rise of the Jewish, Hinduism, Christian, and Islamic belief, no? War was everywhere, no? Fighting for the faith to dominate each one, okay? So, basically, nag-aaway-away yung mga different religion beliefs, yung mga different beliefs natin, no? What is the belief that should be followed by all people? Okay, so those who do not conform on such beliefs, no, how to behave accordingly, has believed to be possessed by demons again. So always bumabalik sa ganitong klaseng thinking, no. Okay, to be possessed by demons, and so on with the exorcism, kaya dun nanggaling. Renaissance period. So this is the period where scientific thinking arose. No, this is led by Francis Bacon. He's one of the significant founders in his proposal of the scientific methodology that science as a study should be objective and unbiased. No, so which led to the foundation of modern science of today. No, it should be established by empirical evidences. By it should be also established by research. No. Okay, basically that is for the Renaissance period. Modern period, okay, let's go each on the four founders during the modern period by Descartes, Locke, and Immanuel Kant. No? So for Rene Descartes, he was a French philosopher which has one of the most influential and significant thinkers in the field of psychology. No? His method of reasoning was introspection and reflection, where was very famous in with his statement, "I think, therefore I am." No, you might see this in relation to your understanding the self course or in your philosophy courses. No, he believed that the mind is the supreme, but the body influences the mind, and that both the mind and the body interact from an experience. So he still believes that the body and the mind has a correlation according to Aristotle and Plato. For John Locke, no, he is an English philosopher which made a significant part in psychology with his concept of tabula rasa, or blank slate. No, so he believed that both the mind and body shares the same phenomenon. No, both the mind and the body. According to him, tabula rasa is the condition of the human mind because a person at birth without knowledge. So we are born in this world empty, no? We still don't have experiences of what might happen to us, no? So we are a blank slate. No, in this concept, he saw that knowledge as an important aspect and he will acquire through experience. So through our experiences, no, this blank slate will be filled with learnings, with knowledge, no. So it's not empty anymore. No, it will be filled out as a person grows and develops to be a human person. Immanuel Kant, so he was a German philosopher who introduced that the person has mental faculties. So what are these mental faculties? We have the body senses, the ability to understand, the capacity to reason out. Okay, the body senses, this is further explained to the components of the cognition. Alright, so some senses of our body, no, can give alert signals to our brain, no, what is happening to our body, no, it will give alert signals. No, hence it will control and it will affect our behavior. Ability to understand, one mental faculty as well for us human beings is to be able to explain through our cognition, to have a rational mind. Okay? So capacity to reason out is further explained through our intelligence. So intelligence is another lesson that we will be discovering and learning in this course, psychology. So since we already know that there are several forms of intelligence according to Gardner, no? The 11 types of intelligence according to Gardner. Then therefore, it's also one of the mental faculties, how we can reason out in different situations, no? He also believed that these three mental faculties connects or links to the mind and the body. So this mental faculties affects both the mind and the body. So Immanuel Kant described the two types of knowledge, a priori and a posteriori, or before and after. Okay, so try to research more into this. What does it mean, no? Furthermore, so let's move forward to the birth of psychology. So psychology as a science. Like other sciences, psychology relies heavily on the scientific method as it uses observation, experimentation, and analysis in gathering data to support the theories. So again, I will really reiterate this, that psychology is really a scientific study of the human mind wherein it needs empirical evidence, no, that can be gathered through observation and analysis and different means of assessment. So basically, it's supported by theories, no? You will learn these theories later on in your courses. Since science expect a detailed and clear description, so was psychology in conducting their case studies, the surveys, observations, the interviews, and the different psychological tests and assessments, no? The studies are designed with the aim of collecting ample data to draw a scientific conclusion. So, dito na papasok yung research. Okay? Yung research. Wherein we individuals, no, or scientists, no, can derive their theories based from the scientific conclusions. Okay, who are the founding fathers of psychology? So, I believe the most or ang pinaka misconception talaga is si Sigmund Freud ang founding father ng psychology. No, hindi po ha. The founding father talaga or yung father talaga ng psychology is si Wilhelm Wundt. Okay, it is Wilhelm Wundt, who is a German psychologist, no? During the 19th century marked as the official birth of psychology as a formal school of thought. Okay, with its founding fathers, si William Wundt and si William James, no? But I believe it was William Wundt ang father of psychology talaga. Okay, let's focus into William Wundt, no? He attributed as a father of psychology. He was a German physician, physiologist, philosopher, and professor. He was the first to establish the psychology as a science that is independent from the other established sciences. Okay, so he is the first one to establish psychology as a science, no? He was very famous for establishing the very first psychological laboratory because as a professor, he taught the very first class for psychology, which he called physiological psychology, which studies through experimentation. Okay, so this science or this course, physiological psychology, will be one of your advanced courses in the program. His very famous major work was his lecture notes of the principles of physiological psychology. Okay, take note of this one, ha? Let's go to William James. Okay, William James, he was primarily a philosopher and a psychologist but trained as a physician. He was the first educator to offer psychology course in the US. Okay, take note of that. Following closely to Wundt's steps, he opened the very first psychological laboratory in the US at Harvard, same year in 1875. Thus, William James was regarded as the father of American psychology. Ayun, so siya pala yung father of American psychology. So, William James also published his 2-volume book, The Principles of Psychology. Okay. Let's proceed to the myths about psychology. So, the field of study was very famous during their era, no? However, there were a lot of myths and notions, no? Not until one gets to study psychology in school before this needs to be corrected. Until today, there are a lot of myths circulating around such as, so yung mga basic misconceptions nila about psychology, like for example, psychology teaches how to judge or guess someone's personality. So in my experience, no, when I was still a college student studying psychology, no, basically kapag psych major ka, sasabihin nila na marunong ka mag-read ng mind. Kami tumatawa na lang kami. Okay, that is not really the big deal here, ha? So psychology just helps analyze behavior, no? Helps relate the behavior in order to find out the reason or the cause of a certain behavior. So psychology teaches how to judge or guess someone's personality. So this is a common myth. Another thing is psychology is about mind reading. So again, no, we are not mind readers, no? We are not psychics or kung ano man yung term nila, no? A counselor, a psychiatrist, and a psychologist are the same, no? No, this is somewhat a misconception, but there are similarities on the function of these three people, no? So there are separated trainings and licenses for every work or for every function here, like for a counselor, a psychiatrist, and a psychologist. So just to take note, a psychiatrist can give medication, while for a psychologist focuses more into intervention. Okay? So as a psychiatrist is a doctor, while a psychologist is not necessarily a doctor. Okay, so he's more focused into giving psychotherapy. Okay, and for a counselor, there's a separate license for that. Also, a separate training for that. So, but still a person can become a counselor, a psychiatrist, and a psychologist if he or she really works hard. Okay, so let's proceed to the Eastern and Western ideologies of the field of psychology. Oh, medyo paus na yung voice ko ang haba ng lesson natin. Alright, Eastern and Western ideologies. Let's differentiate, no, the views of the Eastern and the Western sides, no. For the Eastern, okay, they considered it as a form of a religious beliefs, no. General orientation is concentrated on the exploration of the function and operation of the mind as well as the methods to free the individual from suffering. Okay, and the perspectives of the individual for the Eastern is to acknowledge that the individual has to decide first to seek change and to help her or himself through inner exploration. Okay, restructuring and cultivating mental processes, although the guidance of others who have experienced the process may be sought. Okay, that is for the Eastern side. Moving forward for the Western side. So for the roots for the Western side, early civilization intellects, no? So for the general orientation, observation, categorization, and alterations of observable behavior, this has led to a therapeutic attitude limited to the diagnosis and treatment of psychopathology. And for the perspectives of the individual, it is mostly relied on methods for reducing processes to their most elemental level and investigating them in isolation as single variables. Okay, so that is the end of our lesson. Thank you so much for listening. So I encourage you to please read textbooks, no? Try to explore more into different videos in YouTube or other references that you can get, no? We already stated the different sources of our lessons, no? Kung saan galing yung mga references natin sa lesson natin. So I hope you can read, do advanced reading, and do self-learning. Thank you so much everyone and have a great and fabulous day. See you soon. Goodbye.